I was at Sergeant Henry Prentice's funeral, and so was George Shahadi over there. We went to the memorial, and we went to the funeral, and I believe that that happened the whole entire day. Correct, George?
Mm.
That was a whole day affair. And I do feel for officers getting shot, just like I would for my brother Marines getting killed in the service. But I have a couple questions for you. You have a black band on your shield. Did somebody pass recently, or you?
No, I was looking for the Henry Prendez badge,
Okay.
but I couldn't find it, so I had the Henderson police officer's shroud in memory of him.
Were you here during the interview with Christopher Cannon?
I was not.
He's also a police officer that's running for judge against an incumbent. That he was shot at 3 times with a .357 caliber. He wasn't shot, but he was shot at. And we were going through this whole scenario of how could you be fair and impartial, being a police officer and not holding some kind of grudge or revenge against these criminals out there that might do you harm or someone else's harm. And you made a statement that you saw some horrific things while being a police officer, correct? What kind of horrific things did you actually see? And do you feel that might make you not really fair or impartial sitting on the bench?
Well, that's kind of a tough question because, well, okay, first of all, horrific things that I've seen. I've had guns pointed at me. I've had people threaten to kill me. I've had people threaten to find my family and kill them. I've been to accident scenes where people were decapitated.
DUIs and stuff.
I've handled, those are the horrific things. I mean, traffic accidents where you shut it down because a baby was killed is nearly impossible. Going in and seeing someone, the blood left over from massive stabbing where a guy killed his wife, those are the things I've been exposed to. But what you have to understand is 2 things. First of all, the horrific things generally are felonies. They don't end up in misdemeanor court, which is muni court. But second of all, and more importantly, I think, is each case is its own thing, is its own animal.
Could I stop you right there for a second? Usually, not everybody, usually when somebody runs for a muni court judgeship, they eventually run for a JP or a district court judgeship, or they go to a Supreme Court judgeship. They climb up that ladder, and I just wanted to make sure that you sitting on the bench is not going to look at a defendant in some kind of abnormal way because you had a situation while you were a police officer on the street. So now you have these flashbacks and you said, oh my God, I was in that same situation, and if I did things differently, then this guy wouldn't have done. You come up with all these different scenarios, because I know I do, because when I was in combat and I see some stupid fellow on the street, I think about a whole bunch of things to do. But I just want to make sure that you're not going to prejudge somebody or put yourself in a situation that you're not actually.
So you're kind of talking about.
I'm talking about PTSD. Actually.
PTSD, taking revenge for previous things,
Right.
taking my frustrations out on defendants because I had problems before.
Exactly.
Issues. Absolutely, I understand that question. It's a good question and valid too. I don't think that it's a concern because, like I was saying, each issue is its own thing. Each case is its own animal. And obviously, if a time came when someone came before me that I recognized, oh hey, I dealt with that guy before, I would recuse myself. It would go to another department. It would be totally inappropriate and unfair to a defendant for me to sit on a case where I had known that person as a criminal in the street. And the interesting thing about our judicial system is not all the evidence that the police officers have at the time when they make a decision is presented at trial. But I know that in order to make a fair and balanced decision, you have to listen to the evidence admitted at trial. That is where that is where the judicial decision comes in. So, what I would absolutely recuse myself if somebody came before me that I knew, and even to the point that there's probably some officers out there that have worked for me or that I know really well that I would probably have to pass and say, hey, you know what, I know this guy, and if I felt I couldn't make a fair decision, then I would absolutely step back and say, I can't do that, we need to find another avenue.
Did everybody go, or did anybody have any
I
questions?
have a quick question.
gonna have a follow-up on top of the follow-up
He's
question.
got a novel here.
Done, did you mean?
Really quickly to you both, I just have a kind of, I don't know, just a question for you both. Living in Henderson, you know that the community is predominantly Caucasian, and now with with the area starting to really increase with other nationalities coming into the area. My question is to you: how do you feel about interracial relationships? Would that in any way affect your ruling if a couple were to, for example, the husband be Caucasian and the wife be black, or vice versa, or Hispanic or any other nationalities? Would that at all affect any of your ruling for any cases?
The simple answer for me is no, it wouldn't affect me at all. I've been out there and seen more than just interracial relationships. I've seen a lot of different types of relationships, the non-traditional families. Did I really screw something up right there?
No, you're picturing that.
Okay, well, and the one thing that I've learned is you cannot prejudge those situations, and you weigh the facts as they come to you.
That's probably the one issue that we agree on.
Don Wilbright.
Well, I don't really have much of a question. I've kind of been listening to a little bit of a give and take here, and I guess I did want to hear maybe a step a little bit further. You did say other things. The judge actually kind of addressed it. I can understand that you'd be upset that if you felt like the officers were kind of being slighted. Was that the only reason, or is there any other reason that you'd like to give to us that you feel that you would be a better judge than him because he did something that you feel like, well, was not on par?
Well, when I was bringing that up, I was saying my reasons for running. I think absolutely I would be a better judge just based on my qualifications, my experience as a police officer. I think I make better decisions, more informed decisions because of those experiences. If you want, I mean, Gary Hargis is the president of the HPOA. I'm sure he's got a lot of different things. I don't know that, do you want me to go into specific things that have been alleged? Like Doug said over here, it's hearsay right now. I'm just saying based on the facts of what I've been told and what I know about the Henry Prentice funeral that went all day. And at the end of that day, also I know that the defendant was found not guilty and released.
That's also not true. He was found guilty of obstructing a police officer.
Oh, but not of the domestic violence.
Correct.
Okay. Anyway, that's, so, did I finish answering the question? Do you want to hear other things?
I think I've probably heard enough.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to,
Quick response.
sure.
Please go ahead.
The one thing I'd like to respond to on that is, my opponent talks about his experience. He has no legal experience, and I have 20 years, 6 of it as a judge. He has been an attorney for almost 2 years, but he went back to work at the police department. He doesn't work in the courtroom. Now, he also indicated that, these are his words, his friends endorsed him at Henderson Police Officers Association. His co-workers, the sergeants, captains, and lieutenants of the Henderson Supervisors Association endorsed me. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has endorsed me. The Henderson Chamber of Commerce has endorsed me. The Board of Realtors has endorsed me. And labor unions have endorsed me. So I think that that's just all more evidence, because all of those cover the entire political spectrum, that everyone else recognizes that I do have a track record as a good judge. Thank you.
Well, one of
Get
the
a response to that? Or
Sure.
no? I just wanted to say, he's right. I don't have a whole lot of legal experience in the courtroom, but Ken Proctor was voted Judge of the Year 2002, never went to law school. He was a judge re-elected multiple times. He was a cop. Judge Van Landshut in North Las Vegas, re-elected multiple times, never went to law school. He was a cop. I don't think that when the state legislature enacted the new rules that said you had to be an attorney before you became a judge, they specifically exempted municipal court from any time frame because they understand the issues there are not necessarily something you need to have a complex history. You don't have to be a public defender for 12 years in order to understand that. You need to have some experience, and I think the police experience leads right into this.